20 Days with Julian and Little Bunny by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Read by Frank Blissett. August 16th, Saturday. The little man awoke before day and continued awake some time, of course keeping me awake too, but fell asleep after a good while and slept till nearly 7, when we both got up. On entering the bathing room, I peeped into Bunny's box with something like a foreboding of what had happened, and, sure enough, there lay the poor little beast, stark and stiff. That shivering fit yesterday had a very fatal aspect in my eyes. I have no idea what was his disorder. His digestive functions appeared to be all right, and his symptoms had been merely a disinclination for the last 2 days to move or eat. Julian seemed to be interested and excited by the event rather than afflicted. He imputed it, as he does all other mishaps, to the agency of giant despair, and as we were going for the milk, he declared it was the wickedest thing the giant ever did, more wickeder than when he made the cow mud. After breakfast, I dug a hole, and we planted poor Bunny in the garden, and the old gentleman expressed his hopes that, by tomorrow, a flower will have sprung up over him. After frizzling Julian's wig and shaving myself, I sent him over to Highwood with a note to Mrs. Tappan, informing her of the great box at the post office, and suggesting that it probably contained her rice, and hinting the little probability that she would ever get it, unless by sending the wagon for the box. This being the proper method of presenting the affair, she saw it in the right light, and told Julian she would send. It is now nearly 10, and Julian is teasing me to go to the lake. He says just now, "Perhaps tomorrow there will be a tree of bunnies, and they will hang all over it by their ears." I have before this observed that children have an odd propensity to treat death, the death of animals at least, as a joke, though rather nervously. He has laughed a good deal about Bunny's exit. We went to the lake, in accordance with the old boy's wish. He had taken with him the little vessel that his Uncle Nat made for him long ago, and which, since yesterday, has been his favorite plaything. He launched it upon the lake, and it looked very like a real sloop, tossing up and down on the swelling waves. I believe he would very contentedly have spent 100 years or so with no other amusement than this. I, meanwhile, took the National Era from my pocket and gave it a pretty attentive perusal. I have before now experienced that the best way to get a vivid impression and feeling of a landscape is to sit down before it and read, or become otherwise absorbed in thought. For then, when your eyes happen to be attracted to the landscape, you seem to catch nature at unawares, and see her before she has time to change her aspect. The effect lasts but for a single instant, and passes away almost as soon as you are conscious of it, but it is real for that moment. It is as if you could overhear and understand what the trees are whispering to one another, as if you caught a glimpse of a face unveiled, which veils itself from every wilful glance. The mystery is revealed, and, after a breath or two, becomes just as much a mystery as before. I caught one such glimpse this afternoon, though not so perfectly as sometimes. It was 12:30 when we got back. I forgot to say that I left a note for Mr. Steele at the post office, requesting him to wait in Pittsfield for Phoebe. If she does not come today, well, I do not know what I shall do. It is nearly 6 by the clock, and they do not come. Surely they must be here tonight. Within a quarter of an hour after writing the above, they have come. All well. Thank God. That was 20 Days with Julian and Little Bunny. August 16th, 1851. By Nathaniel Hawthorne. Read by Frank Blissett.